Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. The last two classes we have been seeing basic korvais in Rupaka Thalam, otherwise called Chatusra Rupaka Thalam. Before I get into the class with more korvais, I will start this class with the Thirukural. படை கொண்டார் நெஞ்சம் போல் நன்று ஊக்காது ஒன்றன் உடல் சுவை உண்டார் மனம். What is the meaning of it? ஓர் உயிரின் உடலை சுவையாக உண்டவரின் மனம் கொலை கருவியை கையில் கொண்டவரின் நெஞ்சம் போல் இரக்கமற்று காணப்படும். Somebody had killed an animal, and if he had eaten, and his mind will be such that he is holding a weapon in his hand which can kill somebody, and that is the state of fearless state he will have, because he will be heartless, because he has already done some wrong thing by killing, and he will not feel guilty in doing any harm to anybody, and which is very, very dangerous. And that's what Thiruvar says. With this good thought, let's refrain eating flesh. And that's the importance he is stressed in the 10 Thirukurals of not to eat flesh, because it affects the mind. And when it affects the mind, you tend to do bad things. We are going through the basic korvais in Rupaka Thalam in level 4. The last two classes, I have taught you some creative korvais. How from one korvai you can do multiple korvais using the same format. Which is important, because if you want to play variety, it's easier for you, it will come in very handy. And especially when you have a fellow accompaniment artist along with you, you can play a different variety to showcase your talent and make it a longer dialogue with the other person, be it a Ganjira artist or a Gadam artist. The interlude where for Dhinkitta Takadin Dinna, where Takadanadam after the reduction, what korvai you have to play. I taught you a couple of korvais and the varieties around it. Then Takadhimi Tatadim, Takadhimi Tatadim. In that segment, you can try to showcase, because that is a little Nadamaya circle, like Takadhimi Tatadim, Takadhimi Divika, because Nam and Dhim are more predominantly there, and it's a continued stroke. So there again you can play a korvai, for which I taught you approached with Tadditum Kedadagadom. That phrase I used, and I used the korvai in between, increase with 2, 3, 4, and how you can make a change, shift the later part of the korvai, how you can shift it and play with a different variety, give a different dimension to the same korvai. I taught you how to go about it. Then we dealt with a beautiful classic korvai of Palgar's GTS Mani. This this korvai had been played by the legendary Vidwan on many occasions, and he used to play this same korvai in different nadais, in half chatusram, in half tisram. He has approached this. I had given my perspective of this korvai in a different way. How to use this didathang as dintatam didataga. This approach, I just thought over it, whether this can also be used. So there are a number of ways of presenting a korvai. So that is a different dimension korvai which I taught you using tithanga face, because thalanga is very related to tithanga. The same family, you can blend that korvai very nicely. Now we are going to, as we play the Madhyamakala circle, like Dhim, the Dhimi, the Naka, Ding kita taka ding, ding tang kita ding kita taka ding, ding tang kita tang kita ding kita taka taka ding, ding kita taka taka ding kita taka taka ding. When you're playing that, what can be more appropriate here? Tadi taka. After you play, this is how you finished earlier. After you reduce, and then you gradually finish it off. Now let's try to play a korvai here, because that gives a continuity there when you play the korvai. Tadi takadina tam, di takadina tam, takadina tam, tadi ketataka tadi, ketataka tadi, ketatata. This is one variety of playing this korvai. Now, how to embellish this? Tadi takadina tam, di takadina tam, takadina tam, tadi ketataka tadi, ketataka tadi, ketatanta. Tadi ketataka tadi, ketataka tadi, ketatanta. Tadi ketataka tadi, ketataka tadi, ketatanta. This is another way of playing. By increasing the number of phrases with an equal disposition of 6 matras in between, you can play. Again here, you can group it differently. When you play, tadi takadina tam, takadina tam, takadina tam, tadi ketatan, tadi ketatan, tadi ketatata. Tadi ketatan, tadi ketatan, tadi ketatata. Tadi tadi ketata, tadi tadi ketata, tadi tadi ketatata. That's another way of playing. Another reverse, you can also do the reverse way. Tadi takadina tam, takadina tam, takadina tam, tadi tadi ketata, 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 tadi ketata. Another way of doing it. So this you can embellish by reversing even the first part. Tadittakadinatam, dittakadinatam, takadinatam. You can play takadinatam, tattakadinatam, tadittakadinatam. You go the reverse way. Then when you play the format tadiketata, tadiketata, tadittadiketata, tadittadiketata, tattadiketata, tadiketata, you can also do the reverse way. So these are all the varieties which you can do in this korvai. Now, another variety I thought is tadittakadinatam, dittakadinatam, takadinatam, tadiketata, 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 tadiketata. This is, I want you to ponder over this. What is the structure, and I want you to throw wild on your imagination and how you can get it right into the structure of 12 beats or 24 beats, how it perfectly can play in Rupaka Thalam. This is one of the perspective, one of the korvais you can play. Another korvai I want to teach you, this is also a magnificent korvai which has got three varieties, and if you can master that, that will be good. Takkidadum tadi kitatun takkidadum tadi kitatun tadi takkidadum tadi kitatun 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 tadi kitatun. I'll teach you the max. Takkidadum tadi kitatun. Takkidadum is again 6. Tadi kitatun is both are synonyms. Takkidadum, tadikidadum. Equal spacing. How you play takkidadum? Tadikidadum. Kikidadum. That is takkidadum. Okay? As a positional. Kikidadum. First, kikidadum, tadikidadum. Kikidadum. Takkidadum is the actual phrase. So when you play, then taddittakkidadum is 5. Kittakikidadum is the positional way. So this is how the first part is structured. Takkidadum, tadikidadum. Tattakidadum, tadikidadum. Taddittakkidadum, tadikidadum. So the 6, 6. Then a 6 is improved to 8. Tatakidadum. Tatakidadum in a lower version, 4 in its lower form is 8, 5 in the first column is 10. So 3 in its next form is 6, 4 in its next form is 8, 5 when you play in the higher form is 10. So that's how you have to remember. So 3, 6, 6, 8, 6, 10, 6. The progression is like that. 6, 8, 10. That is a progression. Equal intervals. 6, 8, 10. That's the first part. Thong tadikitatun tadikitatun tadikitatun. Again, the 18 is beautifully is split as 3 and 3 5s. Thong is 3, tadikitatun tadikitatun tadikitatun. 5 into 3, 15 plus 3, 18. 18 you take it thrice. Why they have coined like that, the yesterday Vidwans, is 18 is divisible by 3. So they have used a phrase which is perfectly, you can tong tadiketaka 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 tong tadiketaka 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 tong tadiketaka tadiketaka tadiketaka. It easily fits perfectly. Tong tadiketaka 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 tong tadiketaka 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 tong tadiketaka tadiketaka tadiketaka. That is in Tisra Nadai or in Rupaka Thalam. Every beat has got 6 aksharas. I will come to you. Again, as I told you, when I handle Tisra Nadai, you will get a lot more clarity. Don't worry about Tisra Nadai now, worry about Rupaka Thalam. Because that is a Chatusra way of representing a Tisra Nadai. Okay? That's what you have to understand. So, the whole essay is 6, 6, 8, 6, 10, 6 is the first part. Then, Thong tadiketakum tadiketakum tadiketatum. Repeat it 3 times. That makes the korvai. Takkidadum tadiketatum takkidadum tadiketatum tadiketadum tadiketatum thong tadiketatum 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 thong tadiketatum 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 thong tadiketatum tadiketatum tadiketatum. Another variety of playing the same korvai is substituting for takkidadum tadiketadum. Tattakidadum tadiketadum. Tatittakidadum kidatakadiketadum. These are the substituting phrases. When you substitute these phrases, it gets a different dimension. Tarikitatum, tadikitatum, takatarikitatum, tadikitatum, kitatakatatikitatum, tadikitatum, kadatakatarikitum, 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 kadatakatarikitum. That's another variety. Same thing, only the phrases are different, but to play and to get the effect, you need to practice well. All these you should get it in your hand. All these should be more, you should talk rather than, it cannot be like floating on the mridanga. Your hand should be firm and play kitataka with clarity. The another variety, instead of takkadum, you can also represent how differently you can view 6. That's the beauty. takkadadaga dongudum tadi kettatam that takkadadaga dongudum tadi kettatam tadi takkadadaga dongudum tadi kettatam. You can use it. Who stops you from it? So the equivalent of 6, whatever fits, you can choose that phrase and embellish the korvai. Takadinatam tadi kettatam. Takadinatam is again 6. Takadina is 4. Tam is 2. I'm using a 4-2 combination here and trying to build a korvai here. Takadinatam tadi kettatam. Takadinatam tadi kettatam. Tadi takadinatam tadi kettatam. Kedataka tarikadatam. Kedataka tarikadatam. Kedataka tarikadatam. Tadi tarikadaga. Tadi tarikadaga. Tadi tarikadaga. Tadi tarikadaga. Tadi tarikadaga. Tadi tarikadaga. This is another variety of playing the same korvai. First variety. Second variety. This is the third variety. So you have to express it, understand the math, put it in Thalam and put it into the structure, put it in between the lessons and see whether it fits. All these things, where what is coming, you should know very clearly. And first speed and second speed. Mudal column, first speed and second speed. At least the bare minimum. If you can do 3 speeds, well and good. Let me end this class with the Thirukural. Arul alladhu yadiyanin kollamai koral porul alladhu avvoon. What is the meaning of it? Kollamaye arul tarum. If you don't kill that by doing that act itself, you will be blessed. Or uyirai kolludal arul illada tanmayahum. If you are killing something, it actually shows that you are merciless. That is the quality you are expressing. Adan oonai thinnudal aram illada seilagum. Eating the flesh after killing it is absolutely an acceptable act, Thiruvalluvar states. And let's go with this good thought. I'm signing off. I'll see you in the next class with more korvais in Rupaka. Cheers. Episode 3, Rupaka Thalam, Korvai 1, Mathematical Understanding, total count of 48 aksharas. The korvai should be interpreted like this. Tadittakadinatam, tittakadinatam, takadinatam, tadi ketatanda, tadi ketatanda, tadi ketatanda. Episode 3, Rupaka Thalam, Korvai 2, Mathematical Understanding, total count of 96 aksharas. This korvai should be interpreted like this. Takkidadum tadi kettatum takkidadum tadi kettatum tadi takkidadum tadi kettatum 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 tadi kettatum.
Mm-hmm.